Hello, you're welcome. In this video, we are going to be looking at how you can use Gantt chart in Think-Cell. So Gantt chart is a chart that comes in handy when you want to use Think-Cell to plan and schedule your project. So to effectively add this, we'll come to our elements, and under chart, we select this Gantt. Then we place it on our slide. So once that is done, you can see it displayed here, and you can automatically see that we have activity labels here, and we have date information here. We have these bars, and we also have this indicator of where we currently are. So for us to be able to do this, let's show how we can edit some few elements that we have in this Think-Cell Gantt chart. So we can edit this activity and call it project schedule. We can also change the individual label. So we can call this phase 1, we can call this phase 2, we can call this testing, we can call this review, we can call this release, and we can call this onboarding. Now let's say we forgot to add something here. So if, for example, we are supposed to add debugging after our phase 2, we can actually do this if we initially forgot it by clicking on this phase 2 and right clicking, then look for our insert row, and then we can now add the debugging here. Now, another thing that we can do is to edit this our start date and end date. So to do this, you can double click here and it opens this calendar for you. So from this calendar, you can drag to any point that you want. So let's say I want to start from the 9th. I'll place it here, and I want to stop just by the 5th of April. If I check now, you can see how my chart now looks like. So this very indicator is pointing a backward arrow because we have gone past the time it started. So you can see here, it's telling us that we have 8th of February to 21st of February. Now, we can adjust this, and you can see that it is no longer the same way. Okay. Now, one thing you can do is to add other elements that can help you understand where we are. For example, you want to add information about the quarter or about the year or the days. These are all possible. So before we add the quarter, let's just extend the number of months that we have here. So here we have just 3 months. But for us to be able to see this quarter, let's extend the number of months by double clicking. Then let's move this from April to June, and then move this to January. Now you can see we now have January to June. So when we click on this, we can add our quarters, both scales and separators. And you can see how it looks now. So we have quarter 1 from January to March, quarter 2 from April to June, and continuously if we add other months here. Now, for this bar that shows us our timeline, currently it is 2 weeks. We can adjust this. If you double click here, you still have the option to change what you have here. So we can move this to 5th and move this to 27th. And you can see it has extended. Now, you can also see the second one that we have here. So we can move this if we wish to another position, or we can bring it together. Now this one is just showing us the dotted line. Maybe we want to show an extension in case we are just giving a little bit of extension in case we are unable to complete this project within this very timeline that we've created. We've given this extension as the grace period. That is why we have it as broken lines. If we want to adjust it to become solid line, you just click on it and then select this option. From this dashed bar, we select to solid bar. But in our case, we still want it as dashed bar. Now, you can still insert another one. Let's say you want to insert for our phase 2. I want to insert it here. What we'll do is just click on it and we select this new bar. So here you can see it gave us the broken lines, but we can change these broken lines by clicking on it and then changing from this dashed to solid. And we can still change the color to any of this. So let's change this to accent 5 and you can see how it looks. So you can either adjust this manually or you double click on it and then adjust it from the date. Both are possible. Now you have the option to add timeline. Okay, so I can just click here and then select this timeline. So it gives me opportunity to include my timeline here. For this my bar, this my line, I can also change the color. But let's start by moving it to different positions. So you can move this to this position, you can move it to this position, just as you wish. You can also drag this one, this timeline, to different position. You can change the color here by selecting any of this. Let's change this to red. Let's say now it is red. Okay. We can change whether we want triangle, rectangle, or circle. Currently it's circle, but we can change this to diamond. Okay. And this one specifically, let's just bring it back to black. And you can see what we have here. So if you right click here again, you can add new brackets here, as you can see, and you can adjust the positioning of the brackets. Another feature that you can add when you right click is this new pentagon. So you can see that the pentagon is a bit bigger than this other bar, and you can still use it to indicate your timeline just as you want. So you can drag it here and bring it to this position, then adjust just as you want. You can always change colors by just clicking and then selecting how you want your color to look like. So with all this, you will be able to create a timeline so that your team members understand what you're working on based on the faces, or here you can still have names of team members with what is assigned to them and the timeline. So this helps you plan your project very easily using Think-Cell. And this is just some of the tricks I want to show you in this video on how you can use Think-Cell to plan your project using a Gantt chart that exists in Think-Cell. And I hope you've been able to find this video helpful. Please, if you have, kindly like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.